Today's pronouncement from Zechariah sounds like a great 4th of July parade. How many of you like parades and fireworks? Anybody here? So, rejoice, Jerusalem. Here comes your king. Okay, king part maybe isn't so good for 4th of July, but rejoice, Jerusalem. Here comes your leader on a donkey. And he says, no more horses or chariots, that is, no more war or instruments of war. And he's meek. Maybe he would have also banned fireworks, not just because of fire, but because they come from war too. So it's not sounding any more very 4th of July-y, is it? I have a feeling that reading was chosen simply because it had the word meek in it. Because today's gospel, as we continue in Matthew, has Jesus calling himself meek, which again is not altogether impressive for the King of the universe, is it? Meek, Jesus, meek and humble of heart, he claims. And then he continues this theme of smallness and meekness and humility by saying, it's the little ones, that is, the children, that my Father reveals himself to. And I've been pondering about why is that? Why is it that the little children are granted insight into God that the rest of us aren't? And what are those insights? What is it that is revealed to them that maybe isn't revealed so clearly to the rest of us? Of course, there's the innocence thing. You know, these children, they're innocent. Maybe that opens their hearts to experience God in ways, and they're filled with wonder. Their eyes are open. We think we've seen everything, but which is why it's so wonderful to see things through kids' eyes, right? Because they're seeing things for the first time. Little 4-year-old Arwen Sikora over at St. John's this morning. Julie and I were up there. She's always up there Sunday mornings. And she asked me on the way in to Mass today, she says, Father Dominic, why are you wearing green today? And I didn't have much of an answer for her. Although if anybody's interested in my answer, I'll tell you later. But I warn you, it's not profound and it's another question. But she reminded me that that's another thing about children, is they ask questions. They don't presume they know everything already like the rest of us do. Some of us do know everything already. But most of us kind of fall into that trap sometimes, thinking we've got it figured out. But for the most part, children know they don't have it figured out, and they ask and ask and ask and ask. And Jesus, after all, said, it's not to the wise and the learned that the Father reveals himself in these special ways, but to the children. And I think the even broader thing so it's not just knowledge, though, it's power in general. It's knowing their limits that makes kids kids. We adults sometimes think we're limitless. We sometimes think that we're all-powerful. Now, your little babies, they look at you and they think, they know they're powerless, and they look at their parents and think they're all-powerful. We talked about this, huh? They think to them, you are God. We talked about this too, that sometimes that you don't want that responsibility and you can't take that on, and it's both frustrating and also a relief, isn't it, to realize you're not God, you're not all-powerful. We don't have to be that. That's what God's for, and that there really is a God, that God is all-powerful, all-knowing. At our best moments as a country, we remember that we don't know everything. We remember that we're not all-powerful. We remember that we can't bring peace to the world all by ourselves as much as we want, and we certainly can't bring peace to the world if we do it our own way. But God is there to help us. I can't forget what other profound thing I was going to say. I thought I had it down by now. We even as a nation say we're one nation under God. And we believers in the United States, Christians, Jews, Muslims, and others, we know that it is God that's at the basis of everything we do, everything we are, every breath even. And then the Declaration of Independence, which we celebrate this weekend, says it's through our Creator that we have these inalienable rights, these rights that can't be taken away, even though they're sometimes denied. The right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And for, hopefully for Americans in general, and hopefully for we Christians in general, we remember that it's not just our own pursuit of happiness. I think that's implied in the Declaration of Independence, but really we know that our call is to pursue other people's happiness as well, isn't it? Not just our own. Our call is to have an American dream which isn't just, everyone has an opportunity. Tough if they didn't take it. Tough if they weren't in a place where they could take it, where they could take that opportunity. Rather, our deepest American dream is that all of us together can pursue life, liberty, and happiness and attain that, to help each other attain that, to have true life, true liberty. Now, speaking of true liberty, it's kind of odd then that also we hear today Jesus asking us to take his yoke upon us. That doesn't sound like freedom, does it? To take the ox's yoke, to take a slave's yoke even. St. Paul talks about, the United States was founded on at least the notion of equality, and yet also on the backs of slaves, right? And we're still real as a country from that sin. And yet Paul talks about the slavery to sin. We want to be freed from that. But Jesus invites us to become slaves in a sense. This is one way of putting it, to liberty, to love, to take on his yoke of love, to serve love by serving one another, by helping one another to pursue life and liberty, by helping parents to parent. So Jesus calls us to really true life and liberty. And then we can celebrate with fireworks. As the song says, "Baby, you're a firework." Jesus living within us, helping us to pursue freedom for ourselves and one another. That's a firework. And we as a nation, too, when we realize that God is with us and God is guiding us, we can be a firework, a light to other nations.